Hey everyone, Mr. Michelson here. As you know, I'm not here today. Let's remember today that our class is founded on trust, which means that as we have a guest teacher today, I need to be able to trust that you can have a good day in class. It means you're taking responsibility for your words and actions, you're respecting yourself, others, and your learning environment. You're using electronic devices appropriately, striving for the best in all that you do. And this most important one, I think, is to think about the decisions you make today, especially while I'm not here. We're going to read today a story called Thank You, Ma'am. Here's a little preview. Harlem, 1950s. Late night on a dark New York street. Mrs. Jones is walking home. Out of the shadows, a figure surprises her, grabs her purse. Frightened, she fights back. What kind of a person would do this? She looks to find a teenage boy in her grip. Second chances are hard to come by, but Mrs. Jones is determined to give him one. How will this encounter change young Roger's life forever? Find out. Read the compelling short story, Thank You, Ma'am, by Langston Hughes. Little background here on the story and on Langston Hughes. He was alive from 1902 to 1967. You may have heard of him. He's a pretty well known American author. He wrote poetry and short stories about Black life in America from the 1920s through the 1960s. He was an important part of what was called the Harlem Renaissance, a social, artistic, and intellectual movement that took place in New York City in the late 1910s. It was characterized by pride in Black culture and the idea that Black people challenging prevailing racial stereotypes by producing literature, art, and music. Hughes wanted young Black artists to embrace their own culture. He was worried that Black artists and writers were trying too hard to be white and kind of to be part of that culture. And so he really wanted to celebrate um, Black artistic things. So, thank you, ma'am. You might see some shades of that in this story. In Hughes' short story, Thank You, Ma'am, a teenage boy tries to snatch a woman's purse late one night and is surprised by what happens next. We're going to read this. It's on page 100 of our workbooks. And as we do that, we want to annotate. So we want to use context clues to define those bolded words. We're going to identify key details, events, and individuals. If you need a highlighter, you can grab one of mine. Just make sure I get it back. As you make connections and maybe also ask some questions, mark up this text the best way you know how, thinking about these. And as we are listening, we'll have you do that. This guest teacher can click on this and we can all listen to it. It's a little less than 10 minutes long, so a pretty short story and a pretty good one. Enjoy.